All right, in this lesson with Atlas, I'm just going to work on sideways toward with the mounting block. So he knows sideways toward. I'm going to ask him here. There, he stepped over, so I'm going to click him and feed him a little handful of hay. So he remembers what I'm asking him to do. He knows sideways away, he knows sideways toward, so I'm just going to add in the mounting block. So he also knows coming toward the mounting block while I'm on the ground. So I'm just going to be on that first step and ask him for sideways toward, and he just takes a step over. I'm going to click as he's taking that step and then go ahead and feed him. So that looked really nice. If your horse is worried, that's okay. Just get off the mounting block, see if he'll side pass up to just you next to the mounting block. There, he came right away, took 2 nice steps. I'm clicking him as he comes over, and then I'll feed him another handful of hay. But yeah, if your horse doesn't want to do it or is worried, then just stand next to the block. If he's still worried about the block, just kind of break it down for him. So there, Atlas moved on his own and kind of side passed over by himself. Like, here he goes again. He's just doing it on his own, which I'm totally fine with in the beginning, because he's being nice and brave. He's doing what I want, so I'm going to go ahead and click him for doing that behavior. I'm just gonna encourage it because it's new. So if this was later on down the road, I'm not gonna click and reward this behavior if I didn't ask for it, if I'm not training for it. So, and he's not worried about it. So now I'm just gonna work on touching him on the hindquarters with my driving whip. He's a little worried there. He has his head up. He stopped chewing. He's got his ears on me. But he's not shutting down. He's still flicking his ears. He's going back to chewing now. So I'm just going to kind of rub on him a little bit. I want him to just kind of see that I'm up here. I'm the same person, just slightly taller. But his head's up, his ears on me. He's kind of tight and tense. But I just want him to have a good, positive experience with me on the mounting block. Some horses can find it more frightening than others. It kind of depends. He doesn't seem too bad. He does have some tension, so we're having a nice starting point for that. So I'm just going to raise my whip there. He takes a step over. That was nice. So I'm going to click as he moved over here and then go ahead and feed him. I don't want him necessarily to be exactly right next to the mounting block. This is his first time. Like, as long as he's coming toward the block and it's not in a dangerous position, I'm going to reward that. So I'm going to go ahead and desensitize a bit. Just same kind of desensitizing I did on the ground. I'm just going to do it from the mounting block because now I'm just a little bit taller than I was. So it's a little bit scarier, but it's something still somewhat familiar to him. So, because you can tell when I'm rubbing him there, he's not chewing. He's a little tense, and then he'll start to chew. And I clicked him there for standing still while I rubbed him. I want that to be positive as well. Just kind of petting him on the neck here. And he's a little tense, but not too bad. I'm going to step down and back a little bit. Just going to give him a little break. If your horse is super worried, you might have to just step up on the block and then click and then get off and feed and then kind of work your way up that way. He's not super worried. Oh, he was like, oh, different position. Because I'm on the other side and I was kind of closer to his head. So he wants to put me back on the other side. It's not him being bad. He's just like, oh, I thought we were doing this. I thought we were supposed to be on that side. So I'm just trying to reposition him here with my whips. And he's getting a little confused. Doesn't really help that I'm on the block, so I can't move as much. But he's actually staying connected pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. So just gotta push him over here. And now he thinks that this is going to be yielding versus coming toward. So I'm just going to go back in there, desensitize, be like, hey, remember what we're doing? Set him up here. So I'm going to use my lunge whip too. He thinks come toward and kind of go forward versus listen. So I'm going to say, no, we're not going to do that. I put some pressure on him to go backward, and then he kind of trotted off. And then that whip pressure was just to yield his hindquarters and get him to face me and not just run off. So I desensitized him, and then I asked him for the sideways toward me on his right side again, which he did. And I clicked him and fed him for that. So you could tell when he was moving sideways toward me on that side, he had his head way up, he was all tense, but I'm going to ask him for the behavior that I was asking for before he left. So I'm going to be like, okay, come back. I just touched him with the whip, make sure like he's not super worried. I'll click him there because that was really nice. All I'm trying to communicate to him was all I was asking for was sideways toward, just like we did before, but on the other side. That was all it was. He didn't need to get all worried about it. I'm just going to maneuver my block here and see if he'll come up from far away. So his his coming forward leaning looks nice. There we go. So he just kind of moved his hindquarters a little. It wasn't the prettiest sideways step, but he did it. So I'm going to give him a nice big handful of hay here and then step up on my block. You don't have to go this fast. Like, you could have just kind of stood there for a little bit, maybe worked on him just side passing up while you stand next to the block on the ground. But for whatever reason, I was like, all right, he looked good on the other side, so let's try it on this side, even though he regressed a bit. So again, I'm going to give him a nice big handful of hay because he's standing next to me and he's not super worried. While I stand on that first step of the block, I'm going to do some desensitizing. Again, his neck's kind of tense, his ears are on me and the whip, but he is still chewing the whole time, so that's a good sign. Really, they'll have their head and neck up, their ears are going to be on whatever is happening if they're being touched. That was decent. So I click him while he moves there and feed him a handful. And then they're going to stop chewing, and then they'll probably explode after that. Unless it's kind of some kind of spooky situation, something pops out, then you don't really see those signs, but that's just something to watch for. So kind of have the lash of the driving whip over his back. He's still chewing. He's a little worried, little tension, but not too bad. Ask again. Very nice. I'm really working on just the hindquarters because he wants to let those lag behind a little bit, so that was pretty good. It was a little quick and tense, but he did it instead of running off and stayed with me, so that's pretty good. So I'm just going to let him sit for a second. There, he's going to offer the behavior. Very nice. So I clicked that while he was offering the sideways toward me, and I'll feed him for that. Again, this is his first time, so I'm not going to punish him, and I'm not going to ignore that because that's exactly what I want. So I'm just going to pet on him, let him hang out, let him target my hand because he's used to that. And you can tell how he goes to touch my hand, like he's a little tense, and he kind of reaches his nose out like he's the first time he's ever touched my hand, so he is tense. And then he's going to offer that behavior again to me. Very good. But he's going to get a little bit more back in it, so he's trying to probably position me again on his left side. So I just didn't click that. I'm like, that's okay. I'm just going to pet him here. I am in a place that he knows already. I pet him on the neck all the time, so he's okay with that. And then I'm just going to hop down. Give him a second. And then approach again, reapproach again. And there, he's a little worried. He's a little bit more worried on this left side, it seems like, with me being above him. That was a better reaction. So I'm going to click him for that and feed him while I'm above him. So that looks better. His neck was a little bit more relaxed, his ears, and he keeps chewing. So all of that looks a bit more relaxed. So I'm going to ask him for side pass here. He doesn't understand with just my hand. I'm trying to move a little too fast here and just do that cue. So I'm asking with the whip, and he does it. So I'm going to click him and feed him. Don't want to go too fast. And I'm going up on the top step, which my mounting block, the step difference isn't super significant. That was very nice. He offered that one to me because I hadn't cued him, but he's right in position. Like, that's the perfect position. So I'm gonna give him a couple handfuls here and give him a little jackpot. That was really great. I'll keep feeding him his jackpot there. That was awesome. Kind of build his confidence with that. Really cool. I'm just going to hop down and end that session for today because that was probably the best note I could have ended on. It was really good. I'm just going to let him hang out, and if he wanted to stand there by the block and eat, that's fine. If he wants to follow me, that's cool too.